This is Jilliana Ranicar-Breese, and I'm here in Paris with Pascal, Yves, Laurent, who's the president of the Art Deco Society in Paris. So, Pascal, tell me, how did you first become interested in Art Deco?
Okay, that's a very long story and a very long time ago. I was born in Vichy, and I remember when my grandmother was taking me in downtown when I was really young. My grandmother turned sick when I was 5, so I remember that every memory I have was before I was 5. And I remember that I was looking at this building, this big, beautiful Art Deco building. I didn't know they were Art Deco. I just know that I was a...
But in fact, the expression Art Deco only happened in the 1970s, as I understand it.
In the 60s, in 1968.
Ah,
yes,
okay, the late
book,
60s, yes.
But I mean, the architecture was there, and at the time I didn't know it was Art Deco. And so I know this interest for this specific architecture is coming from very early in my life. But I mean, it was...
And you always knew you wanted to be an architect?
It happened when I was 10. In fact, I'm not really an architect now. I'm working in the School of Architecture, but mostly on the administrative part, organizing the school for the professors. I teach sometime when it's concerned about Chicago, Rome, and Art Deco, of course. But I mostly work for the administrative part of the school. And since I started this Art Deco Society 4 years ago, I teach less, and I'm mostly working for the Paris Art Deco Society.
So who is behind the Art Deco Society?
Oh, it's an international organization of society, and the president of the Art Deco Society, the ICADS, we say, International Coalition of Art Deco Society, is Jolandi, who is from Chicago. And I've been to Chicago to make a lecture about Art Deco 4 years ago. And I say, oh, it's too bad there's no Paris Art Deco Society, and Jolandi...
So it started in America?
Yes, and Jolandi told
like
me,
most things.
Well, you should do it because you like Art Deco and you like this period. So I say, why not? So I started it. And so thanks to Chicago and Jolandi. And the first Art Deco Society started in the 1980s. The first one was in Miami, okay? And then it spread out. It was mostly for preservation and to make the interest about this period growing, because in architecture, when I did start my study of architecture, it was, Art Deco was not considered. I was talking, I remember saying to my professors, right, what about Art Deco? And he said, oh, Art Deco is for furniture, not for architecture. Okay, so I couldn't talk about Art Deco during all my studies. So I approached it by the ocean liners, the World's Fair, everything I could approach Art Deco, kind of subconsciously. I was approaching it, but I couldn't really work on it officially. So, and it's thanks to Chicago and Jolandi in Chicago, I could start this Art Deco Society. And
do you travel?
We travel, yes. We go in Europe. We have now some other Art Deco Society in Brussels, Perpignan, that's in Saint-Quentin, which is a city not too far from Paris. But there is also like World Congress every 2 years. So not 2 years ago it was in Cleveland. 4 years ago it was in Shanghai.
Shanghai?
Yes.
Is there Art Deco in
there's
Shanghai?
A lot of Art Deco in Shanghai.
Wow,
yes.
I heard that there's Art Deco in Tel Aviv a lot.
There is mostly Bauhaus.
Yeah, Bauhaus, yes.
The same period. We have a trip organized by the Society of Tel Aviv in March. I couldn't go there, but I heard of it. It was very good.
Yeah, I'd love to go.
Yeah. And in Paris, I mean, everybody thought that think about Paris with Haussmannian building, and nobody really think about Art Deco. But in 1925, with the International Exhibition about Decorative Art, things started here. It was the beginning of the Art Deco movement. And so it's the way Art Deco at least spread over the world. And it's why we're thinking to have the World Congress in Paris in 2025, for the centennial of the exhibition.
2025?
Yes,
really?
It will be in Paris.
I better put that down in my diary.
It's coming.
It's coming quickly, isn't it? Yes.
Quickly. I remember when I started the society, I was thinking, oh, it's 11 years from now. I don't know, it's 6 years from now. It's starting to be...
Let's hope we're all alive.
Yes. And the next World Congress will be in November, in 1 year from now, November 1919, in Buenos Aires.
Oh.
So really, really want to go there. So, and so I think this place here was very good for the interview, because this building was built in 1931. It's a part of the Beaux-Arts School. It belongs to the School of Architecture, which is within the Beaux-Arts School. And you can have this marvelous view on all the monuments.
Unfortunately, I can't see the view.
You know? Okay.
No, it doesn't show on my...
You can have every monument of Paris you can see. The Louvre,
I know.
Everything is there. We're on the 5th floor of this building.
And these are maquettes on the ground?
It's models of the students.
Models.
Yes. And the building is empty right now because the students haven't started their work yet. But soon it will be full of people and students working hard. And so I think it was a nice place because this place was designed by an architect from the 1930s, Roger-Henri Expert, who also designed the fountain of the Trocadero. And also he designed the deck floor of the Ocean Liner Normandy.
Oh,
yes. So, and there is a lot of influence of the Ocean Liner style here. And I don't know.
Yes, I could be in a ship. We could be in a ship.
You can add the
absolutely
the canot. And you would be on.
I get the feel of that. Yes.
And in America, this was called the streamline style. In French, we call it the Ocean Liner style.
But in America, it went on into the 40s. It went on longer.
Yes.
And it was called streamline, wasn't it?
Yes, it was also. But I think it started with this building. Has a lot of importance in the
And what's the name of the building we're in?
Oh, we call it by the name of the street, Rue Jacques Callot.
Oh, Jacques Callot,
yes. There's no specific name of this building. It just
right opposite my favorite cafe, La Palette.
Voilà, just in front of it, yes. And so it's an important building. Even the radiator you can see a steel kind of a streamline design, the original.
Are these original?
Yes, the original, yes.
Oh, I did notice them.
And so it's and the space was done for architecture, for students of architecture. So they needed a lot of lights. So this building is from 1931, which is very ahead of its time, with a lot of lights, glass roof. And now there is too much light because students work on computer. If they don't like to have...
So the students, what are they working on? They're not working on Art Deco though, are they?
No, we're working on architecture.
Just architecture.
Contemporary architecture, yes.
Yeah.
But we have classes of history of architecture.
Yes.
Then we talk sometime about Art Deco.
Yeah.
I think that's about it, yes.
Yeah? Okay, as you choose. All right, well thank you very much and I'm delighted to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you.